Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Naru's Corner, and this week we are going to take a look at a new feature added in 1.5 for single player games, where you can read players' horizontal and vertical input and use it to control some custom created vehicles or monsters and stuff, and create some unique gaming experiences. So without further ado, let's just jump into the editor and get on with it. So here we are back at the editor, and as you can see, there is already a finished scene with a plane and a little tiny car that I have been practicing this on before, and it all works from really few lines of code from the event listener. As you can see, we use game event on fixed update, and there are actually two events accessible in game event: fixed update and update. And the main difference between these is basically that there is this thing called a delta time, which is the time elapsed between each and every call of this event. And fixed update is always going to be a same time, and update it can be different based on some frames taking longer to process by the computer, so there can be differences. And if you are ever manipulating with physics of the object, you would usually use fixed update. For like reading of inputs or something, you usually use update, but in this case we are just gonna go ahead and use only the fixed update. We're gonna read the input and move the plane at the same time, just to make things easier. Okay, so if I show you quickly before jumping into a new map and creating this, basically this is all that's going on, right? This is just a speeding of a plane. Once I get inside the plane, the character isn't really moving into the plane because the plane is tiny. I found out way too late that I have created a way too small of a plane, so if my character stood next to it, it's just as big as a player basically. And this is basically just movement forward, and this set rotation. You can see there is a vertical input and horizontal input. These are the two new tiles that we are going to be using. So I am just going to jump to the new map. I have created a composition of the plane that we are going to use. This is going to be Naru's corner plane. Plank. Right. Nice. And don't say, right. Okay, so here we are in the new map. I have added the plane from the composition, and we are gonna need an event listener. We are gonna need to set it up as a game event with the fixed update event, and we are gonna go ahead and create a few variables that we are gonna need for this. And what we are gonna need is a plane, of course, that is gonna be our referenced object that is gonna move, and you can choose this from object properties window. It's the easiest way to go. Then we are gonna have some current plane speed, and we don't really need to see this in the object properties windows because it is gonna change, but there is gonna be a max plane speed. That is the maximum speed that the plane can move. And then there is going to be plane acceleration, and that is going to be visible as well. This will determine how long it's going to take basically for the plane to get to the max speed with these portions. Yeah. And these bits of speed. Okay, on fixed update, let's just first say that we want to create the spinning effect, right? So we're gonna say that on game start, the current plane speed is gonna be 0, right? On fixed update, then we want to check if the current plane speed is smaller than the maximum plane speed. If it is, we want to set the current plane speed to current plane speed plus, and there is going to be this plane acceleration. This means that every time this is called, it's gonna check if the current plane speed is equal to max plane speed, and if if it's smaller, and if it is smaller, it is gonna increase the plane speed by the plane acceleration. So basically, it is just gonna go until there is a max plane speed, and then we are done. Okay, so what is next? Next, we want to start moving our plane, and our plane will be moving just every frame, every time this is called, it's gonna move forward for a bit, right? So set position. And in this part, we are not gonna care about the custom inputs yet, because we are gonna use these inputs in the rotation bit. So notice that I am using a transform position, and that means that whatever number we place in here is gonna be in a local in a local position, not a global one. And that means that it does matter the way the plane is rotated. So right now, if we move it on the z axis here, it is always going to be forward with the tip of its nose. It's always going to go forward. So we are going to say on z-axis it's going to be current plane speed, right? And we need to, of course, now read the vertical. Oh, and I don't see that because I am a dum-dum and I didn't set the single player. So set the single player, edit script, vertical, and a horizontal input, right? So we have these, and what these return is they can return between -1 and 1, both of them, right? If you look at a horizontal input, it is going to return -1 if you press A. It is going to return 1 if you press D, and it's going to create return 0 if you don't press any of them, right? Or both of them. Yeah, both of them will also return 0. I think. I'm not sure though. I think this is a good question. I don't know that one. Anyways, the important part is that it is gonna create. It is gonna return either -1, 0, or 1, and of course it can return the decimal places as well, like 0.5 or -0.5. But that is only if you're playing with like a joystick or something, where it can return these values, and that definitely can happen here because you can play this on a phone. So yeah, but of course that we will need to, increase this by some reasonable number, because we don't want to be moving always by 1. So you just take this and then multiply with some number, like some speed of rotation or something. Depends on what you're doing, of course. But in our case, we are going to be setting a rotation of the entity, transforming this rotation, because we don't want to always restart it once we let it go. So plane, and now we are going to use also this beautiful vector piece, and now we know that we have to rotate it on z-axis, and that is going to be this rotation of the plane, and x-axis, and that is going to be dipping its nose down and up. Of course, if you are 90 degrees like that, it's going to be rotating like that, right? I hope you can see my beautiful hand movements. Right, so this is all we're going to do. The plane is always going to be moving forward, and then we are just going to be rotating it on z-axis with its wings, and then just dipping its nose in the direction either up or down. And I'm not sure this is how it works normally in other games. Definitely not. It's more complicated than that. Just we are gonna do it like that because I said so. Okay, so the way we're gonna do it, I think we want the z rotation, the rotation by with its wings like that. This should be pretty fast, right? So we are gonna multiply it by like 5, and I am gonna put -5 because it is just this is gonna be horizontal, and this is just the reason why I put -1 is just the when I was trying it earlier. If you put 5, if you put a sorry, you know what I mean. Never mind. If I put 5, it would be going the other way than I want the rotation. So I put -5 to be a correct one. I already tried it out. I know how it works. And now for the vertical input, we are gonna put something like 2. And of course I need to change these to multiplication because that would be a horrible instruction. Okay, so we are setting the position and we are rotating the plane. And this is basically it. I'm not kidding. Like if you leave it like that without any, if you don't want some extras like shooting or something, this is actually it. I'm just gonna take a custom camera just so it can follow our plane, and this is gonna be a third person, I think, and it is gonna have distance of like 8. Oh, not /8. And it's gonna be custom because we are gonna be looking for this. Okay, so let's just try this out if it works. But this should actually be it. This should be actually all you need to do. Of course, if you noticed, I've used one more set position and it is not working. And why is it not working? Because we didn't set it as animated, because I'm dumb. And okay, this is why it wasn't working, of course. So we set the plane as animated and now it should work. Well, this is not what I imagined. Of course it can't work when I didn't select the plane and didn't set the maximum speed for the plane, right? God, I'm dumb. Okay, so of course that we need to select the plane. Maximum plane speed is going to be like 0.6 and acceleration is going to be 0.01, I guess. Yeah, it could be okay. So now it has to work. This is it. 3 lines of code and I still mess it up. And as you can see, I can turn it like that, and it looks terrible. The reason why it looks like the plane is not turning on a place and just making these weird, it is because it is rotating around the center of the camera, and the camera is set to have an offset of 1 on the y-axis, and that is what is creating this effect. Like in reality, the plane is rotating really on one spot around the center, but this is just creating the effect of this. In the map that I was showing you at the beginning, I had set the offset to 0. I wasn't as stupid as I'm here. So that is why it looked like a smooth movement from the center. I will change it just so the next time we try it out you could see it better. So yeah, now it's 0 and now it's gonna be on center. Okay, so as you have seen, this is actually that simple to start moving a plane. There is one little thing that I have done to make it a bit more realistic, because if you're turning with the plane, at least I suppose, the plane still has some force left that is pushing it forward, right? If I was turning it up, there is some force pushing it forward, so in the end it wouldn't be this perfect circle that you're trying to make. It would be slightly bigger circle because it takes the plane some time to overcome the force that was pushing it forward, right? So you add another if statement, and here we are going to be checking if the sorry, I don't think we need to use this. The more I think about it, yeah, I don't think we need an if statement. We just gonna say that on y-axis it is gonna move by the, what is it? Wait, no, it makes no sense. So here we are, a few minutes later, and I am done fighting with myself. I hope I didn't forget to cut it because it was super embarrassing. And I couldn't figure out whether I should use this if statement or not. And of course I don't have to use it. I'm just gonna change it here, and then let's see what happens. So what I was trying to say, I don't know how much I'm gonna cut, how much I'm gonna have to cut to don't sound like an idiot. So let's just recap this, okay? What we want to do is add a little bit of this realistic feeling when you are dipping the plane somewhere and trying to turn. We suppose that there is some force still trying to push us in the way, in the direction that we are moving before. So if you are turning up or down, this up movement wouldn't be a smooth like that. There would be slight push from the plane, so it would be a slightly bigger loop than you would normally have if it was just as a smooth sailing, right? So I want to add this a little bit of a force coming to our plane, and we are going to do that by using a current plane speed, dividing it by, let's say, 10, just to get a really small number, and then we are gonna multiply it by the vertical input. So in theory this should work, right? This is a small piece of a force. It is like exactly 1/10 of the speed of the plane. And then we multiply it by the vertical input. It means that if we are turning up, that is an S key, the S is gonna equal -1. So when we turn, this is gonna return -1 times this, so it's gonna push us a little bit down, which is exactly where we want to go to like create this effect of some residue of force. I hope it makes sense. I don't even know if it's gonna be, if you're gonna feel it in the final product. I did, and I quite liked it. This is why we're adding it. Okay, one further note, if you want to add the shooting the way I did, it's not really hard, but it's not the point of this video, and I'm gonna show you anyway, because I just feel that this wasn't so much to show. So you are gonna need some custom controls to add to your scene, and you are gonna create some custom actions, and that is gonna be, we are gonna add the corn shooting, because the corn shooting is my favorite. Yes, so we are gonna name it shoot on as an ID, and it is gonna be down, and you are gonna use a left mouse button. Then we are gonna use a second one, and it's gonna be shoot off. The same for here, shoot off. And this is gonna be up. That means when we release the left mouse button, and done. This is all the custom controls that we need for the shooting of the corn. And we are gonna go to the script, and since we need to know if we should shoot or not, in here in the event listener we need some global storage, because we need some variable that is gonna tell us now shoot, now don't. So we are creating a variable in a global storage that is gonna be shoot corn. Do this, yeah, it makes sense. Okay, shoot corn. Now when we go to the custom controls, we are gonna go edit script, edit on shoot on and on shoot off, and we are just simply gonna set the shoot corn to on true, and on shoot off is gonna be false, right? So that's what we're doing. Now we go back to the event listener. Sorry. And here we can check if we are shoot corn. If it's true, it's just like that, because we know that shoot corn is either true or false. If shoot corn, then we call some custom instruction. And there is one more thing here, and I'm glad I did it because I almost forgot. In the shooting, you know, if I did like that, if shoot corn and he would be just like throw some corn forward, this would absolutely spam the hell out of it, because it would always, when this fixed update is called, which is a lot per second, it would just spawn one after another, and you know, your game would probably crash, I think, because that would be so many. So what you want to do, you want to create some timer, right? And the way you create timers is that we are going to use some new variable that is going to be like a fire rate, and this fire rate is going to be some number that is going to define how long it takes for the weapon to shoot again. And then we are going to need something like a counter, a shoot counter, shot counter, right? Okay, so if this shot counter that is going to be under there, if this shot counter is smaller than or equal to 0, then we are gonna call this shoot instruction, because now then we know that it's done reloading. So there is gonna be some shoot for now, just like that, and we are gonna call it because it's 0. Else we are gonna take this shoot counter, this shot counter, so not shoot counter, and set it to a shot counter, flipping hell, to shot counter minus this delta time that we have up here, because I told you this is the real time that has elapsed from the last call of this fixed update. So you are just subtracting these small pieces of time until you get to 0, and it actually takes, like, if you have the fire rate at 1.5 seconds, it is gonna count by these little parts to 0 from 1.5, and then it's gonna shoot, as you can see here. And at the moment it shoots, we just simply set the shot counter back to the fire rate, right? So we set to 1.5, it goes to 0, we shoot, then it goes to 0 through here, then it again jumps into this because it's 0, it shoots again, it is set to fire rate back to 1.5, and then it goes over, you see? So this is how you can create a continuous shooting with just a bit of a, you know, delay sort of thing. Sorry, it took so long for me to explain this. I don't know why I was so excited about it. And in the shoot, you know, I want to say, why am I so stung with that? In the shoot instruction itself, you are just gonna use a throw instruction, and we're gonna use something like an offset here, because you wanna call it for those two cannons that are on the side. So we are gonna be calling it from different offsets, right? So instigator is gonna be, of course, the plane itself. Template, we don't have any template for the corn, so we are gonna create it. Do we have to use corn? We could use, like, what could we use? What could be fun? What could we be shooting? You know what? I am gonna be shooting some mushrooms. Oh, this is a big mushroom. And some smaller ones, but nice ones. Nah. And slate. I am gonna be shooting crowbars. Oh, definitely. It's gonna look so bad with the crow. No, I'm gonna be shooting diamonds because we're rich. Yes. And if you're gonna shoot something, you should just shoot diamonds. Freaking diamonds. Reference then today, we're gonna create, here, select this. And if you ever want to change the way something is rotated in the throw instruction, you can just rotate the entity template. If I rotated it like 90, oh no, that was a lot of errors. 90 here, it is going to be rotated this way once I shoot it, right? So you can play with that. I know a lot of people had hard time with this, where arrows were flying the other way around and stuff. So it's all by the rotation defined in the entity template. It's a lot of talking today. Okay, so entity template is gonna be our super awesome diamond. And in the origin and offset, I've already shown this before in the previous video. So let's just quickly do that. I really do hope I remember how I did that though. Transform position. Origin is gonna be the plane, right? And offset, I am just gonna use the this is gonna be the offset, and the direction is gonna be this offset plus a, what do I want to, oh, I have no idea I've done this. Oh right, sorry, it's gonna be like that, offset plus, and we're gonna create the set 1, so it's gonna have a greater offset on the z-axis with the same offset. Alright, yeah. Speed, let's say like 20. Gravity falls damage, it's gonna be 50 damage, great big damage. Okay, you could choose some, you know, particle effects when it hits the ground or something, but yeah, let's not waste time with that. And here we of course need to set some vector, and just, you know, I have no idea how this is offset, these little cannons they've added here. So let's just make up something and just shoot with the offset of 1 and -2. I hope this is right. Yeah. And this is going to be also 1 and 2. So it's not going to be perfectly aligned, but you can get the you get the idea, right? This is just the offset you define for when where the cannons are in in relation to the center of the weld, right? So this should work. I'm just gonna test it, and let's hope this. Yeah, I already know what I screwed up. The offset of the entity, of course. Yeah, this is why it's flying. And yeah, you can see I forgot to set the you know, the fire rate to something normal. So if I hold it now, you can see it's just spamming them so quickly, and my game is becoming really laggy. But it looks cool though. It's worth to lose those frames. It looks really pretty. Okay, so last thing I'm gonna change is to fix the fire rate and the direction that it's flying in, and that should be it. Okay, so first there's gonna be this. Oh no, I didn't make it public. This fire rate. No, yes, fire rate is gonna be shown in properties window. Yes. Okay, so fire rate is gonna be, let's say 1. No, that's way too much. 0.5. Every half second we are gonna be able to shoot another 2 diamonds. Okay, and what I screwed up here is that we are, of course, you know, the direction has to be like this offset minus this offset, of course. Right. Now it should work. Okay, here we are, and I had to go back and increase the speed of the bullets, of the diamonds, because sorry, they were moving so slow that it looked that they actually stood still next to the plane. And yeah, here we are. I've increased the speed of the diamonds to 60, and now you can see that if I hold the button, every half second we shoot another 2 diamonds in the direction that we are looking at, and that's how it goes. Okay, so that it is the exact same way as I've added the melon bombs there. I just turned on the gravity for them in the throw instructions, and I created a new custom controls with the spacebar next to the, you know, left mouse button. And yeah, that's it. So I've explained how the custom input works, how you can utilize it to move with everything. And of course that if you were using it to move like your car or something, if you had, you know, some small RC cars that you want to control, then you would use the vertical input to move your car forward. Like you would say that if the horizontal input is vertical input is greater than 1, then you want to multiply some car speed times this this number of vertical input. And then it really depends on whether you'd want some rigid controls, like just multiply it by that and set the position to this number, or you can create some variable where you say that this is a speed of the car, and if you are holding the key, increase this speed by like 0.5, and it's gonna add some force to the car, and then you are each frame gonna be setting this speed to the car. So once you let go of these controls, it will start slowing down by these 0.2 or something. If you have any questions to that, I know I can be confusing at times, so once again, just comment down under the video, or on the forums, and I will try to explain this in more detail with some demonstration, so you could get it better. Okay, I've redone this so many times. It is like the shortest video I've made, and I have spent so long doing it just because I couldn't get the opening right. I messed so many things up. So I hope in the end, once I cut everything up, it will at least be okay, and that you will get what I was trying to say from it. Anyways, this will be all for today, guys. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed. So see you next time in like 14 days. Bye, guys.